BGC ka parang parang lucky number ko yata.
28.
Okay, we're live.
Alright.
Punta lang ako sa Facebook. Magandang gabi, partner.
Good evening, Coach.
Good evening. At again, it's Tuesday and I get the opportunity to talk to you again.
Yes.
Talagang once a week na lang tayo nagkakausap na sa sobrang busy natin pareho.
Oo nga eh. Pero parang ano yan eh. Pag yun nga, kung like valued, parang ano lang, we pick up where we left off lang. Parang ganon.
Saka ano siya, parang it's actually a good sign because despite the pandemic ay tayo abala pa rin sa ating mga ginagawa. So ibig sabihin, mayroon pa rin tayong trabaho at pinagkakaabalahan. So ayan, excited ako for as always to see you and also to have our guest tonight. Kasi napansin ko, just to give you a preview, bakit naisipan nating imbitahan tong bisita natin. Marami nagtatanong sa akin tungkol sa yung nagsisimula pa lang startups, and it's one of the things that I notice is that yung branding hindi natitake for granted. So since hindi naman ako eksperto sa branding at kayo yan ika nga tonight you will be the coach and I will be share So na-excite ako na magiging ako ngayon, isa ako sa mga taga-tanong So excited ako for you dahil meron kang kasamang branding expert din. But before that, syempre babatiin natin, parang nag-late tayo ng ilang minuto, ang dami na nila agad. Dayan, all best, parang umulit na rin to last 2 weeks, Ivy Regondola de Maculangan. Nakakatuwa yung mga na nagsimula yung isang kapamilya, tapos makita mo sa apelido ni Yaya yung susunod na kapamilya na dumami na sila. Like yung mga San Juan, Florjan, Jacob Veloso, of course, si PJ Veloso. Maraming salamat, good evening. Genevieve Obejas, ayan, last week, nanood din si Genevieve. Maylene Laguda. At syempre pa, si Sir Roberto Tabinas Jr. May badge na siya, So maraming salamat po. And he's saying, everyone, enjoy watching. Thank you very much sa suporta, sir. Mula nung unang nanood ka ngayon ay talagang consistently kasama ka po namin. Jerlaika Masilungan, of course, magandang gabi sa'yo. Eto, si Neil, Si Neil, talagang yan, si Neil. Si Captain Neil. She's a pilot, Piloto to ng Cebu Pac. Dati rin siya sa PAL. So ngayon ay nagninegosyo na siya. So makikinig siya ngayong gabi for branding. Sabi ko sa kanya, it's an episode that's tailor-fit for your new venture. Voltaire Aquino, Neil, sinilabanggit natin kanina, And Cindy Kabuhat, parang
Pinsang ko to.
And syempre pa, yung mga taga Las Vegas, linggo-linggo yan. Tina Jake Castro, maraming salamat sa inyo sa pagsuporta. Arden Alojado, si M. Link, si Miss M, yung ating naging guest, Marie Chris, watching also. And of course, si best friend,
Yes.
Looks to Last po by Justice. Yan, highly recommended. Talagang kung gusto nyo maging masaya ang inyong biyenan. Problema lang, nagselos yung aking may bahay. Sapagkat mas magaganda raw ang bulaklak na binigay ko sa aking biyenan. So, gagandahan din natin just pag test na is certain.
Pero hindi ba kinakabahan yung babae nung pag pinadala mo ng bulaklak para may ginawa kang kasalanan ka?
Depende sa iyong track record.
Yeah.
So ako naman ay maganda ang aking track record. Kaya talagang madalas ako magbigay ng bulaklak.
Ayan.
Hello, Chess. Joe Gasilia, magandang gabi po. Jim Deck, ang daming nanonood. From UK, Victor Mempin, magandang gabi sa iyo dyan. At sa mga kasama natin na sa UK. Nabigyan ng papuri ang ating mga kababayan dyan sa UK, di ba? Sa kanilang serbisyo bilang mga frontliners. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Bernard Hauhoko of FSS. Minsan i-guess natin itong mga taga-FSS because they came up with a great solution, logistics supply chain solution. Mantakin mo, from purchasing to delivery to the stores and even yung billing. Magandang maging guest natin ito. Kasi maraming mga restaurants ang naghahanap ng ganyang solusyon, di ba? Kasi alam mo, nagsimula ng restaurants usually at saka food business, magaling lang yan, magluto, mag-serve, di ba? So, Pag mayroong partner na darating na, sir, kami nang bahala sa purchasing hanggang billing. Imaginein mo, di ba? Ang laking luwag. So, i-guess natin yung mga taga-FSS. Mga taga-FSS po, magandang gabi. Po sa pangunguna po ni Mr. Vincent Punto. No? Mga taga San Pablo yan. Pero ngayon sila ay narito at namumuno sa kanilang mga negosyo. Jimwell Cobatse, Ulysses Nang at sa lahat ng mga taga-Maxis Group. No? Yung mga taga-Maxis yan. Magandang representation sa atin. May taga-Shakey's, taga-Maxis Group, no? Taga-Jollibee, of course, taga-Outback, taga-Buffalo's, taga-Zarts.
All over the world.
All over the world, no? And the universe. Ayan po. So, without further ado, gusto ko ring marinig na ngayon, kapatid, yung iyong recap. Dahil yung last episode natin, nakakatuwa, no? Yung personalities involved dun sa ating episode. And napaka-insightful po, no? Ang dami nyo dapat sinulat nyo sa notebook, ni-screen grab nyo. And I think we're sharing the full, report. Sabi nila. So, ano ba ang iyong mga top takeaways from episode 27?
Ang ating It's Christmas Time Consumer Sentiments for the Holidays, ang ating last episode, where the most important point is Christmas is not canceled. Tuloy ang Pasko.
Yeah,
And
tuloy na tuloy.
Yes, tuloy na tuloy. But the priority is on the essentials, the quality, the safety, and the tradition.
Agree, no? Alam mo naman ng Pinoy. And alam mo maraming magagandang senyales, no? And napatunayan nga nung nakaraan, no? Ang maganda lang dun sa study natin last week, no? Napaka Ika nga anchored on research, and naging guest pa natin si Adam, 'di ba? Si Adam Crane, na siya yung nagpaliwanag nung ibig sabihin ng mga datos at ng naging kasagutan, no, dun sa ano magiging consumer behavior. And sabi nga nila, no, they might take another survey using the same questions. But from that initial survey pa lang nakita mo na people will find a way to celebrate. Not just Christmas, no, kundi yung anything that can be celebrated.
Yes, true. More than ever, we need a reason to celebrate now.
Yes.
And then the second point is gustong-gusto ko yung, I'm not sure if you've seen it, Coach. Alam mo yung medyo nagva-viral ngayon na Disney video na may lola?
Nakakaiyak yun, no?
Yun. So yung second point natin is yung at this point, more than transactional or functional features, yung focus on the emotional benefits because it's a season of hope, love, and gratitude. Di ba nakakaiyak?
Yes. Punong-puno ng emosyon, no? Nagkataon pa magpapasko, pero sa totoo lang, maraming kaganapan sa buong mundo. No, na talagang napatunayan natin na human beings are basically emotion driven, no?
Yes.
Kahit ano pang pagpapanggap natin na tayo ay puro science, logic, no? At the end of the day, that's what separates us from the rest of the
True.
the creations of God, na tayo ay meron tayong emotional connection sa isa't isa. Yung interconnectedness natin ay hindi lang yung functional or transactional connectedness, kundi yung emotionally connected tayo. Sabi ko nga, walang neutral na touch point. So when you interact with someone or you engage someone, hindi yan pwedeng walang naging epekto. It's either a positive or a negative emotion that you create. Na nagpapasaya ka ba o nakapagpalungkot ka? No, yan yung sinasabi parati, yan ang number one coaching point pag nagiging multi-unit manager, sasabihin sa'yo, when you go to a store, you don't drain energy. You bring energy. Hindi pwedeng yung dumating ka, naubusan ng energy yung mga tao dahil kung ano pinagsasabi mong nakaka-demotivate. Namulis ka lang, no? Hindi pwede yan. Kailangan nagdala ka ng enerhiya. No? Yes. Naging baterya ka, di ba? So, yun din ang mensahe. Yan ang mensahe, sabi nga, no, yung ating emotional interconnectedness.
Yes. And then the last point was yung pagiging more important ngayon lalo yung pagiging value-driven. To be flexible, to be diversified in options pagdating dun sa access, and on the focus on family or community advocacies.
Yes, oo, yung yung deciding factor, no? Kung wala kang connection at transactional ka lang, may kaugnayan din sa second point, di ba? Then baka hindi ka maalala. No, kailangan tumatanim, no? Kailangan remarkable. Remarkable, hindi na enough. Vivid, hindi na rin enough. At ako, yung magpaliwanag masyado niyan dahil expertise nung bisita natin ngayong gabi.
Ang ganda nung
maging siya maging
ang ganda nung segmo, Coach, yung remarkable.
Siyempre, alam mo naman yung segue tayo eh. Mahusay tayo sa mga segue.
Yes,
alright, without further ado.
Yes. Kasi ang ating episode is it's all in the brand. So we'll talk about remarkable brands. And it's really fitting to have somebody na serial entrepreneur with expertise in game-changing brand strategy, product innovation, and business development. Yes.
Batang-bata, pero hitik na hitik sa karanasan at saka ito ang pinaka-importante. Kahit hitik ka sa karanasan, pag madamot ka, hindi ka mag-guess dito. Ito napatunayan ko na to ilang beses na. Na madalas kami magkwentuhan nito, even nung gitna ng pandemya, nagkakamustahan kami. So, pakilala mo na, share.
Yes, without further delay, Kendrick Co, founder and CEO of Antidote Brand Venture Studio.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Kendrick.
Hello, kamusta, big brother? Kamusta? Hi, Cher.
Hello.
Palakpakan tayo.
Ayan, palakpakan, mas gabong palakpakan. Ayan.
Sabi ko nga sa inyo, hindi ako gano'ng magsasalita dahil I will defer to the experts tonight. So, fire away with your question, Cher.
Ayan. Ayun, kasi na-mention ko yung yung pagiging game-changing yung mga brand strategy at product innovation. Pa-background naman, tell us about yourself and your accomplishments as a brand creator and entrepreneur.
Okay, so I'm Kendrick Co. I'm the founder of Antidote Brand Divergence. Basically, what Antidote is it's a brand venture studio, so we create brands usually from scratch. That's what I love to do. Ever since. That's also why my podcast is called Kendrick Loves to Brand, because that's really my passion, or what I would say is my purpose in life. I really love creating brands. So in Antidote, we started off by creating brands for our clients, for our partners, and then later on we started venturing into creating our own brands. So the main vision for the company, and why I really believe in branding so much is because I want to use branding for nation building, for to promote the Philippines. Kasi like when I back in college, that's one of the things that I always think about. And when you hear foreigners talk about the Philippines, there's not much depth, diba? Parang hindi masyadong malawak yung parang pananaw nila sa Philippines, di ba? Parang meron yung mga stereotypes na whether OFW, nurse, caretakers, or swerte ka na kung kilala nila si Pacquiao and gusto nila si Pacquiao, di ba? Lea Salonga, very, very few parang brands that are globally known. So, ang hirap din makabuo ng magandang image for the country, because when you see people and hindi nila alam yung Philippines, syempre parang they'll hang on these mga stereotypes that are not really that are not really fair, diba? Given the richness of our culture and our talents, diba? So dun ako parang nag-isip na I think I can use branding. It doesn't always have to be creating a big brand, diba? But even if you create a small brand na you can reach other countries, and alam nilang made in the Philippines yan, diba? Hindi lang yung raw materials natin yung siniship out natin. I think that has a big impact on their image of the country na, So yun, dun nagsimula. So from there, we created a few brands, and got also, we also created a restaurant, and that's also actually why that's how I met si Romel, because he's one of my mentors pagdating sa food business naman.
Okay, you mentioned, I think for the benefit ng ating mga viewers, what is a brand?
Okay, so there are many different definitions of what a brand is. Pero I guess the simplest, or for me what I often fall back on, is a brand is basically the sum total of the perceptions that a person or your consumer or your customer has about you, your product or your service, diba? Mm-hmm. So ang I think yung isang misconception doon is tingin natin yung brand is nasa atin, parang tayo may-ari. Well, technically yes, we own the brand, but the brand exists in the mind of your prospect or your customer, diba? So but yung isang magandang analogy dyan is think of it like parking lots, diba? Na for every category, isang parking space, diba? And oftentimes sa utak natin mga tao, we assign a particular brand to a parking space, Diba? Kunyari, kung sabihin natin soft drinks, I'm sure maraming automatic yung iniisip ng karamihan sa atin dito, Coke. Diba? So, so depending on the category, pwedeng malawak yung parking spaces available for those categories. For example, food. Very, ano yung food kasi hindi naman isa lang kinakainan ng tao araw-araw Diba? So, there's spaces for that. Pero, kunyari, like, kung sabihin mong buffalo wings, automatic buffalo wings and things yung una kong maiisip, diba? So that's one of the brands, but pwede ring may space ka for a secondary brand, a third brand. So again, yung brand is about perception, nasa utak ng tao, ano yung pananaw nila sa brand mo and what they feel or what they think of when they see your brand.
What you stand for, kumbaga. Yes. Kasi I had to ask, kasi minsan, di ba, pag you're not very familiar with it, isip nila, brand name ba yun? Jingle ba yun? Di ba? Ang daming aspects. But I like how you said it na it's the sum total of all perceptions.
Yes.
Which makes it exciting as well as minsan nakaka-crazy kasi parang wala kang control Di ba?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Actually, from the standpoint of a business owner, no, that's why gusto kong kakwentuhan doon si Brother Kendrick. Marami ko napupulot tungkol din sa branding, no. It's a realization on our part. Tama yung sinabi niya kanina, no. I like what he said about us not having that how would you call that parang bordering on arrogance na tayo yung may-ari ng brand.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, ang nagde-define ng brand mo yung consumers, no, yung in our case customers, and how they perceive. So it's very important also, like I'm a communications graduate and alam ko yung kahalagahan, parati ko nga nire-remind, no, whenever I get the chance, no, when I coach about leadership. Now, one of the most important thing about communication is the importance of how your message is understood and appreciated, no, by the receiver. Hindi yung how you intended to share to communicate it as the sender. But ano yung naging impact dun sa receiver? No, ano yung emotion na na-create, ano yung understanding nila. Yung sabi nga natin, di ba, like sa The Resto Coach, it's, head, heart, and hand, no? Ano, paano na-appreciate yung mensahe mo? And dun I think, dun ako nagkaroon dun ako na-trigger na mas, okay, mas kailangan ko pa palang intindihin because, gaya nung sinabing example kanina, napakaganda rin, no? Yung mismong si Kendrick as a person, he is also a brand, no? And ang mga manifestations ng brand niya, Kendrick Loves to Brand at saka itong Antidote, napakalalim ng pinaghugutan, no? It's about patriotism and nationalism. No? Sinasabi niya, the Philippines must be recognized for for brands, no? Hindi lang personalities, no? Hindi lang types of jobs that we usually go for, which are actually hindi naman masama because that yan, trabahong serbisyo yan. Ibig sabihin, we're known as, like in Singapore, when you go there, ang kilalang mga Pinoy dyan, bago nung araw, medyo mas matanda ako sa inyong dalawa. Ang unang mga nakilala sa Singapore ng mga Pilipino, arkitekto.
Yes.
Similarly sa Hong Kong, no, bago naging ang stereotype is yung domestic help or yung mga nasa service industry, arkitekto rin. No, yan yung trivia diyan, no, ng isa sa pinakamatatagal na mga Pilipino na nag-OFW, hindi pa uso yung term na OFW, are actually professionals.
Yes.
No? And even sa US, no, mayroong lugar diyan na doktor, no? Sa Hercules, no, sa California. Meron diyan pag puro Pilipino yung nakatira, puro Pilipinong doktor, no, at professionals. So maganda yung adhikain, no? And doon ako natuwa, no? Ito palang branding is very powerful.
Yes, exactly. Kasi like, 'di ba? If you think about it, parang marami sa atin, there are countries na we haven't even been to, pero meron tayong image of what that country is, di ba? Positive or negative, di ba? Kunyari, ever since bata ako, Japan has always been, parang a country that I've always wanted to visit. Kasi you see Japanese cars, syempre, nung bata ka, naglalaro kang Nintendo, so, di ba? You have Sony Walkman, so parang you immediately think, pagdating sa technology, diba, sa manufacturing, even sa fashion, sa food, diba? Parang all of these are brands in our mind, diba? So yun yung isang gusto ko sana magawa natin as a country na instead of like sabi mo nga kanina, Romel, diba, na architects parang matagal na ever since panahon pa nung I don't know, diba? Parang we keep sending out our best people instead of sending out the work of our best people, di ba? Yung mga brands that we create.
Yes, yes.
So yun sana yung magawa natin, dahan-dahan para at least the benefit kasi of owning a brand, di ba? Ikaw, Romel, as you would know, the benefit of owning the brand is the value chain. Ikaw yung nasa pinaka top, eh. Di ba? So whereas as a country, parang mas sanay kasi tayong raw materials natin yung pinapadala natin, which is nasa dulo ka ng value chain, eh, di ba? Kasi hindi pa napaprocess. So, kaya nakakatuwa ngayon para nakikita mo marami ng mga brands din na in industries where we used to just send out our raw materials, kunyari cacao, di ba? Ngayon, ang dami ng local chocolate brands na dito gawa, and the quality and more importantly, the branding is
multi-awarded.
Yes, exactly. Diba? Si Malago, si Oro, Reese's Chocolate, parang dumadami ng ganong brand na parang I think if you put them side by side with the top brands in the world, may laban na. Diba? Kasi hindi lang yung taste, hindi lang yung quality, but even the branding itself. Diba? So, yun.
Yes. And then I think the first time branding was really expounded on in Coach and Share was the mention of RJ before pagdating dun sa yung maghahanap ka ng brand na kilala mo bago mo i-franchise because it's a brand you believe. So you won't, it's a brand you trust. And it's ang mahirap lang kasi minsan is yung hindi siya tangible, di ba? Pero for people who are starting out, more often than not, the value or the monetary value of the brand is even more than the actual raw materials you have.
Yes, exactly. Actually, ano nga lang last week, I think a week ago lang, nag-release na ulit si Interbrand nung annual list nila of the most valuable brands in the world. Diba? So, ever since college, I've been following that list. Diba? So parang you would think, I think for the longest time, before the tech brands overtook Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola's been the #1 most valuable brand in the world. Na at any given time, yung value ng brand itself is more than all of their physical assets in the world.
Totoo yun.
Diba? Kind of crazy to think about, diba? Kasi kahit mawala lahat nung manufacturing bottling plants nila, they can easily restart kasi yung value ng brand it's sobrang powerful, diba?
And para sa para sa kaalaman ng mga nanonood, ito po ay maaring hindi topic na parati natin na pag-uusapan pagdating sa restaurant, food business, but I am telling you from experience, how I wish I had, a brand expert beside me when we were creating Buffalo's Wings and Things. Because yung nakikita niyong forma ng Buffalo's Wings and Things ngayon, hindi kami ganyan nagsimula. And kami nang aamin sa iyo, sa inyo na dami naming mistakes, na nakakatawa pag binabalikan namin yun. And yung itsura ng brand, ng font, and the name itself, na totoo lang, sino ba namang, para kami mga kumag talaga dahil napakahaba ng pangalan namin.
Kumag talaga.
Napakahaba ng pangalan namin, di ba? Kasi nga, alam namin, is pag-restaurant, pagluluto, pag-serve, and yung pangalan, hindi namin binigyan ng ganung kahabang attention. No? So, di ba? And now, na-realize namin, and mabaitan Diyos sa amin, nagtagumpay kami despite our long name. No? And I think we violated several rules of branding by doing so. Kaya po kayong mga nakikinig, I'm telling you, this is one of the most important episodes, yung branding. Ito yung ginagawa sa simula Parang imagine niyo pinanganak yung brand, papangalanan natin, no? Kasi yung pagpapangalan ng brand, doon nagsisimula yan. Kasi yung pagpangalan, mayroong istorya yun 'di ba? Bakit Kendrick loves to brand? Bakit Antidote, 'di ba? Bakit Buffalo Wings and Things, no? Bakit Coach and Share? Bakit The Resto Coach, 'di ba? So, yung The Resto Coach, medyo may natutunan na ako ng bagya. So anyways, sa mga kapwa ko nasa resto negosyo at food negosyo, makinig mo tayong maigi sapagkat ngayong gabi bibigay ni Kendrick yung mga tips sa atin on how to, how to create a brand and how to nurture and grow a brand. Sige, hindi ko na kayo gagambala.
Pa-share ng yung top 3 learnings from yung Early Bird Breakfast Club you mentioned a while ago.
Okay, so yung Early Bird Breakfast Club, so when we created this, when we launched it noong 2013, hindi pa uso yung mga all-day breakfast, diba? So parang nagpauso kami na kasi yung wife ko really loves breakfast. So nung time wala kaming experience with food. at all. As in, wala sa magpa-partners marunong magluto, mag-operate, and mag-purchasing ng anything. Wala kaming alam. Alam lang namin kumain. So, but kami ng wife ko, like we know how to, I think, create a brand. So based on syempre how what we saw in the industry that wala pang all day breakfast, I think there was a chance to create something different. So that's where we started, and we were lucky enough to find chefs that were just as passionate about breakfast as we are. So doon nag-start yung Early Bird. So top 3 lessons, parang hirap top 3 lang. Pero siguro with regards to like actual food business, syempre I think location is the most important aspect na given na wala kaming experience sa retail or sa food industry, talagang paulit-ulit namin na violate yung parang learning na yun or yung rule na yun na location is the most important. Parang syempre parang when you're young and you're an entrepreneur, parang you're always excited, di ba? So parang and at that time parang it wasn't as easy pa to get spaces. So parang feeling namin kung sino una mag-offer sa amin ng space, sunggab na agad para lang mabuksan mo yung location, di ba? So of course, looking back, parang a lot of probably I would say nandun yung karamihan ng learning namin sa location. I think a lot of times we got excited with the space. Tapos syempre when you're an entrepreneur, optimistic tayo lagi, di ba? Na feeling natin we can make it work kahit saan yan. Parang kaya ng branding natin, kaya ng marketing natin. Kasi especially marketing background kami. Parang feeling namin makakahatak tayo ng tao. And it was true. But parang syempre nung dumadami na rin yung competitors mo sa market, then all the more yung location became yung parang naging X factor, diba? Na hindi na pwede puro marketing lang, parang ganun. So that's one. Probably second, sabi ko, since we didn't have direct experience sa food industry, one of our biggest learnings was if we could do it, if we could go back in time, parang pinakauna namin gagawin siguro to find a seasoned operator to really run things. Kasi hindi talaga namin din strength na, like I said, parang yung operations. A lot of it was learning it, trial and error, talagang, kaya sa inventory management, nagkaroon ka na ng pilferage bago mo pa maayos yung sistema and all that, diba? So, that's probably one. Like, kung papasok kayo sa industry ng food and you don't have direct experience, it's really helpful to find. Like, parang itong program ni Coach Romel dito, diba? Na you have a chance to learn. Siyempre, ng time yun, hindi pa uso to eh. Wala pang the rest of coach na show na ganito. So, I would have definitely learned a lot kung ganun, di ba? And third, probably, siguro it's when it comes to growth. Kasi minsan sa business, I think we were lucky na at the very start, we weren't expecting parang to grow that fast, I guess, or to hit it, parang to really parang mag-click sa market agad-agad. Kasi we were, actually the funny thing was when we opened, soft opening dapat, di ba? So, alala pa tong story kasi our head chef is a British head chef. So, parang totally na culture shock siya sa Manila kasi when he came in, usapan namin parang, soft launch, soft opening muna, ganyan. So the first 2 nights, it was just really family and friends. And then when we started, parang talagang open na, nabigla siya kasi talagang dagsa talaga yung tao. Dinumog na. Even kami din, syempre we were happy pero parang totally, parang we were out of our element na parang hindi namin alam how to handle it, diba? So nagkaroon kami ng konting issues with serving time, ganyan. So even then, parang I think we were able to catch up a little bit, but I think we weren't able to handle the growth at that point. Na if siguro if we had a seasoned operator working with us, baka mas na-manage better yung ganung situation. Kasi we really didn't expect it. We were thinking parang, maybe after a few months, magkakaroon na tayo ng following. Parang biglang after 2 weeks talagang
napaaga.
And we were totally unprepared. As in, syempre parang we also didn't want na feeling ka na dudumugin ka agad, diba? So hindi rin kami talaga prepared at all. Parang we were thinking dahan-dahan mag-ramp up month after month. Parang ganun. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but I think looking back, yun yung mga top 3 lessons that I really wanted to share.
Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, napakagandang pakinggan. Ano? Parang pareho kami na sana nakilala kita noon pa. No? Bakit ngayon pa lang? Pero sila rin naman yung magagaling sa marketing and branding. Sana nakilala na rin namin kayo dati pa. So again, yun po yung essence nitong The Resto Coach. No, marami po tayong resto coaches ngayong gabi. Ang resto coach natin si Kendrick, no, and si Cher. Because what you lack in experience, hindi mo kailangang hintayin magka 7 years experience ka pa. No, you consult the resto coach and other experts in the field, or kung ano yung kulang sa iyo, hindi po nakakahiyang magtanong. 'Di ba? Or hindi lang magtanong, manghingi ng tulong. No? And marami pong tutulong at makikipag-collaborate, no? Ang gusto ko yung yung summary niya na number 1 is location. Even that, no, kailangan mo talaga ng experience eh. Kasi even the most seasoned restaurateurs, diyan nagkakamali pa rin kami diyan. Ako siguro ang hit rate ko mataas na, pero not even 90% ng mga binuksan ko yan eh. Kasi may science, no, but at the same time meron kang dapat pag-intindi nung mangyayari in the future.
Yes.
So sa madaling salita, diligence, no? Kailangan pag-aaralan mo talaga, magre-research ka, hindi pa pwedeng. And that comes with that comes with yung sense of ownership. Na sa ating mga entrepreneurs, meron na automatically yan kasi tayo nga yung may-ari ng brand eh. Tayo may-ari ng negosyo, tayo maglalabas ng security deposit, tayo maglalabas ng advance rent, no? But at the same time, nakikita niyo po, no, nagkakamali pa rin po kami. So, again, wala pong mawawala kung makikinig kayo sa mga gantong palabas gaya ng The Resto Coach, Coach and Share every Tuesday. And no, if you reach out, ask questions sa ating messenger, no, email us, no, reach out to us. No, ay marami na po tayong nabibigyan ng kasagutan. Ito lang, no, paalala lang sa mga nagtatanong. Minsan, matapos ng una at pangalawang tanong, tumitigil na magtanong eh. Parang okay na. Alam ko na, diretso na ako. Naku, wag po. No? Totoong pera po yung ginagamit nyo dyan sa pagninegosyo. So again, no, learn from other people's mistakes.
Yep.
No, mas maigi po 'yun kaysa to learn from your own mistakes. So, pwede ba tayong mag-intermission muna para nga yung ating bisita ay mabigyan natin
makahinga-hinga.
No problem.
Na-excite ako yung second portion ng And i-share ko lang din itong ating itong ating isa sa magandang balita ngayong araw na 'to. No, habang bumabati tayo, ibababaring ko muna sa screen yan, no. Para po, totoo po, yung balita kanina sa mga pahayagan na may kaugnayan sa restaurant. Ito po yung inaabangan ng lahat, no, na may linaw na yung vaccine, no. So, si Cher, of course, is in the industry of pharmaceuticals right now, no, and maybe she can add some insights after I share this, but ang pinag-uusapan ngayon yung biglang pagbangon ng mga stocks ng restaurants, no. At sino yung mga brands, particularly yung mga brands na nakita na nag-survive at nag-adjust nung pandemic. Ika nga yung mga naging nag-evolve, nag-adapt with agility yung mga pinag-usapan natin. So, no, it's a welcome, no, napakaganda ng sign kaya sinaligan. May smiley, we're open, welcome, no. And sa isang episode natin pinakita natin yung totoong storya ng mga frontliners ng restaurant industry, no, and how they they walk, they ride the bike, no, from Tondo to from Tondo to Mega Mall, yung isa malupit from Bulacan
yun.
Bulacan to North Edge. Nang babae yun, natutong mag-bike, no? Na-imagine ko, nagbabike siya from Bulacan, may training wheels pa yung bike niya, no? So, ito po ay isang welcome news para sa ating lahat. At habang binababad ko po yan sa screen, no, ay babatiin po natin si Jordan Bernardo from Mad Cafe, no? Roniel Salangsang, no? Diane Olbes, Maylene Laguda, no? Ang daming mga heart nila, no? Salamat, mahal din po namin kayong lahat at na-appreciate namin ang inyong panonood. Ito from Shangri-La, no? Shangri-La Hotel, Rodel Clotario. Gandang gabi rin sa iyo, brother. Winston Sia, ng gabi po sa iyo, classmate, no? At yung mga iba pang classmates ko na chinik ng attendance ni Ma'am Sining, no? De Mate. Justin Lee. Daniel, kamusta ka na, Daniel Kalang? No? Of course, si Angel Baterna, Charlene Sarmiento, Lynn Senap, and sino bang hindi naman nawawala to, si Christian Manuel, no? Si Miss Peachy, kakaklase ni Christian Manuel yan, linggo-linggo from the episode 1 yan, ano. Sabi niya, Christian Manuel, customers diverted to online ordering and delivery and somehow ease up the challenges with locations. something positive out of this pandemic. Totoo po yan, no? And Stephanie Areglado is also watching with us, no? Chuchay Hermoso, Mark Anthony, hindi nabigay. Si Chona Habeliana Rodriguez of Gustosa, no? Gustosa in BF, no? Yan, bagong restaurant din yan na pinanganak ng pandemic. Congratulations, Chona. Of course, si Mami Sin Pineda at mga taga Paranaque, mga Lacerna, Pineda, no, magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat, mga Inigo, no, Perlas, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. No, Randy Pangilinan at marami pa pong iba. Share, ano bang madadagdag mo rito mula sa pharmaceutical company? Mukhang magandang balita ito.
Maganda yan. Just to have perspective din, Pfizer is one of the top multinational companies pagdating sa pharmaceuticals. Now, does it mean na titigil na yung iba? It doesn't mean na titigil yung iba to find it. It's more of this one could be the earliest, and you'll also have options further down kasi madaming on testing eh. So eventually magkakaroon ng choice at saka hindi na magkakaroon ng issues ng kukulangin ba ng stocks. Kasi we're talking about 7-8 billion people, right? So this is a good sign na parang okay, there's one na viable na at 90%. Although meron din considerations dahil syempre ang vaccines would have special handling requirements na kailangan cold chain siya, yung mga technical aspects as well as ilang beses ba siyang ituturok. So maraming mga technicals diyan. Pero now it's good to know that the brightest people in the world are pouring all of their resources in options for the entire world to recover.
Tama, no? Imagine mo yung 8 billion na bibigyan ng gamot, di ba?
Yeah.
Ang dami na pala natin talaga, no? At sabi, nakagulat kasi ako naalala ko nung mga unang panahon sa Pilipinas pa lang na population, na-amaze ako pag na-realize ko that we're more than 100 million now, no?
Yes.
So, tama po lang na tayo magtulong-tulungan kasi there's enough. Basta po tayo magbibigayan lang. At tama po yung sinabi kanina ni Share, maggagawin natin yung ating role para mag-recover. Hindi naman po tayo maghihintay lang na mag-recover. Habang ginagawa po yung vaccine, may kanya-kanya rin po tayong papel na gagampanan. Habang sila'y abalang gumagawa ng bakuna. So, yan.
Ang ganda rin how hopeful with restaurant stock soaring, di ba?
Oo, kasi totoo yan, kasi alam naman ng tao, and it's happening kanina nakakwentuhan namin yung kaibigan namin si Francis, no? Sabi niya, in fact, in Thailand, no, talagang parang sa inyo rin yung kwento mo dati, no, na sa Thailand ngayon, naghahanap na ng pag-iimbesta na negosyo habang wala pa yung mga resorts, no? So, syempre, ang pag-unang diyan, ang prospect talaga, restaurants. Kasi yan yung mga celebrations and people are starting to go out. So, ito po ay unang bahagi pala ng ating pag-rebound or ating pag-bounce up, sabi nga ni Mr. Vic Gregorio. Magandang gabi po, Mr. Vic, no? Bounce up, no? So, ito po ay kailangan pa rin nating mag-ingat, no? Yun lang paalala at para hindi na po natin wag nang masira yung momentum. Okay? Sige.
Ayan. So, balik tayo kay Kendrick na batang-bata pero ang daming napagdaanan pagdating sa various hats. My next question is yung vision nyo for current projects pagdating sa Antidote at saka dun sa ating podcast.
Okay, so with Antidote, so we've been busy during this time, no, to sort of reviving or restarting our consulting business. So as I mentioned kanina, when we first started 12 years ago, we were really focused more on client work, helping clients with their brand strategy, design. So that's what we've been doing more now. Kasi a lot of our other brands are in travel, like we have a beach blanket, we have sports brands. So mas lesser yung demand given nung early pandemic time, di ba, na walang travel, walang masyado mga sports events. So we pivoted and focused more on consulting. So we do a lot of brand consulting, even e-commerce, since we've had a lot of experience with e-commerce with all of our brands. So that's what we've been doing on Antidote side. And then aside from that, even like I said, long term the vision is unchanged. We really still want to keep creating more brands. So doing shows like this or doing mentorship through Go Negosyo, it's really spreading that message na we have to create more brands. Actually, yun yung isang nakikita ko ng if I can just share kasi marami tayong mga very entrepreneurial na tao dito sa Pilipinas, di ba? It's just that I think yung branding hindi masyado mataas pa yung appreciation natin. I mean, actually, appreciation as a consumer, yes. But as an entrepreneur, as a creator, parang we don't put too much importance on the branding. Diba? Which is actually ironic kasi tayong Pilipino, we're world-class consumers. Anything good in the world, for sure, makakahanap ng market dito kasi we can appreciate it. Pero pagdating sa creating our own na we can bring to other countries, medyo kulang pa talaga tayo. So, yun yung sa nakikita namin, like coming up with brand names, tulad ng sabi ni Romel, parang that's always, parang minsan pag entrepreneur ka, go ka na tapos parang you don't really spend too much time na on that, di ba? So, we've been parang spreading the word about that, na you really should take time to think about that, ano yung story mo, ano yung, what you want the brand to represent. So yun, that's on the Antidote side. And then, sorry, what was the other one? Antidote and...
On your podcast.
Tama. Bago tayo pumunta ron sa pwede ba akong magtanong tungkol sa Antidote bilang representante ng mga startups, no? So sa madaling salita, pwede kong mag-engage ng services ng Antidote.
Oh, yes.
If I was starting a brand right now, no, doing, kasi sabi, akala ng iba, okay, may puhunan ako. So ang kino-coach namin dito, di ba? Signature dish, signature experience, and then yung right business model. Yeah. Diba? So, may kulang na isa. Yun yung sinasabi mo ngayon na ang payo natin, no, might as well consult with an expert when it comes to branding because branding is actually a value driver.
Yes.
Ika nga, sabi mo kanina, example natin, Coca-Cola and other brands, Nike, I would imagine, Harley Davidson, Volvo, yan yung mga kilala na pag may brand, nalalakas yung brand, recall kung ano yung association sa brand, So, ang sinasabi mo, they can actually engage the services of Antidote.
Yes.
No? Yes. At mamaya, bibigay mo yung iyong contact details para sa, maganda ma-flash natin. Kasi again, ako natutunan ko to sa, eto siguro naman, ayatollah to pagdating sa branding because siya nagpasikat ng brand ng Shakey's worldwide, no? Na in fact sa Pilipinas, yung sikat sa Pilipinas ng Shakey's nadaig yung kasikatan niya sa Amerika, no? Si Mr. Leo Prieto Jr., no? Siya yung chairman ng Shakey's noon bago na naibenta yan sa ibang may-ari, but he was one of the architects along with Vic Gregorio of the turnaround, no? And tatlo lang natutunan ko sa kanya, invest in the brand, invest in the stores, invest in your people. So, ibig sabihin, yung brand, no, pinapahalaga niya, mag-invest ka dun sa brand. So, yun, no, ito po, ang kasama po natin ngayon, again, no, for all of you who are interested, you're starting up, you can actually engage the services of Kendrick, no? At dahil dito niyo siya nakilala, may discount yan, wala mo.
So actually, brother, if I can add lang, no, kasi yung branding, yung like sabi nga ni Romel kanina, and that's really correct, no? You really have to do it from the start. Pero hindi nagtatapos yun doon. Hindi parang nagawa mo na yung magandang brand, tapos na. So, branding is an ongoing process. You have to keep evolving, keep growing the brand. Diba? Now, there are situations kasi may mga ibang tao kasi parang sabihin, what about si ganito? Parang yung name, generic naman, pero parang sila yung leader ng category, for example. Diba? May mga exceptions kasi, syempre, kung if you're first in the category, you can get away with your brand name being a little bit generic sounding. Diba? Kasi ikaw pa lang yung una-una eh. So, na-associate na rin sa'yo yung brand. So, if you do it right and you build well with your operations, with your signature dishes and everything, pwede. You can get away with not having a very unique sounding name. Diba? But, parang syempre, you don't want to take that risk. Especially nowadays na parang yung barrier to entry in pretty much any business, mababa na kasi because of the internet, ang bilis maka-research ng tao. If we see something, kung may ma-launch na bagong business in other countries, through social media, alam na agad natin, madaling gayahin, madaling sumunod. Diba? So all the more, mas magandang magsimula ka, you do it right, you create the brand right from the start, and then you keep building it.
Yeah.
Tama. Starting it right, no? Starting it right.
Yes. If I may add, actually, Kendrick, kasi dati kong client si Romel. kung hindi naman sa pagano, isa sa mga favorite clients ko yan kasi naiintindihan niya yung value ng brand building. Kasi it's quite common and I really can relate kasi if it's your money, ang tatanungin mo sa akin, ano yung priority? Brand building or sales generating? Yes. So yun yung mga long term tsaka yung short term. Syempre for an entrepreneur na hindi ganun ka mabilis ang cash flow, iniisip niya, saka na muna yan, kailangan ko munang kumita. Pero there are a lot of violations and a lot of risks if you do that earlier on, 'di ba? Yung sustainability ng brand mo, hindi siya may establish.
Correct.
Saka ano yung tama yun na ako natatawa, hindi mo natatawa, masama naman yung namamangha na lang, namamangha ako pag naririnig ko yung word na nagre-rebrand kami. Di ba? Kasi bakit kaya kailangan yung mag-rebrand? Sayang, meron na kayong magandang brand. Ano nangyari? Di ba? Kung tama yung sinabi ni Kendrick, hindi lang pagsimula ng tama, kundi branding is a continuous process, no? It's consistency. No? Yung brand mo should translate into the promise of the brand and the actuality, no? The actual experience, the actualization, sorry. No? Yung moment of truth na tinatawag. No? Pag na-experience yung brand mo, dapat talagang kung ano yung pangako ng pangalan, yun yung ma-experience, di ba? Okay. So, marami pa. Naku, mukhang may second episode tong pag-guest ni Kendrick.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
Ayun. Can you share yung top leadership and management insights that you've gained from your podcast ulit?
Yan, yung podcast naman. Yung podcast.
From the podcast, actually, the reason why I started the podcast, no, mahilig talaga may pag-usap sa mga tao and to learn from them. Ever since parang I was young, siguro part of it is kasi when I was young, I used to go with my mom and dad. Kunyari pag may mga early breakfast meetings sila, kahit na po matatanda yung kasama, parang hindi ako umiiwas sa usapan. I just sit there and I listen. So siguro parang na-form yung habit sa akin na to listen and you might pick up something, diba? So yung podcast was really a way for me to, it's almost like an excuse to have more conversations with people I look up to, whether colleagues or people like si Romel, who's ahead of me and who has a lot more experience than me and I can learn from. So top leadership lessons or lessons siguro for entrepreneurs, I think yung isang common na nagiging barrier ng aspiring entrepreneur or young entrepreneurs is yung feeling na parang konti lang yung alam ko or parang wala ka masyadong alam, ganun, di ba? Walang experience. And I think out of the mga almost 40 na na-interview ko na, iba-ibang experience, iba-ibang backgrounds din. Parang I would say the most common denominator is everyone, even now, parang feeling nila they don't know enough pa rin. They're always learning. So all the more nung nagsisimula sila, everyone starts at pretty much zero, di ba, in terms of experience. Kasi nga, kung may experience ka na, di, parang you won't gain experience, kung you're just starting out. So yun talagang isang realization, like, it doesn't matter kung ano yung background mo or what. You can always learn and the process is continuous. So yun yung pinaka, the best entrepreneurs that I've talked to, that's the most common na parang trait. It's yung continuous learning, continuous growth.
Yung favorite guest mo? Yak ng on the spot,
Actually, lahat iba-iba. Pero to be honest, I was really looking forward to interviewing Romel nung time na yun. Si Romel was introduced to me by my sister-in-law, si Ella. So, kasi matagal na ako makain sa Buffalo Wings and Things. Madalas ako dun sa Ortigas na branch. Malapit kasi sa office namin. So, parang when I had the chance to interview Romel, parang it was really, parang like meeting an idol, di ba? Tapos, ang maganda pa nun, di ba, parang there's this quote na you shouldn't try to meet your idols or heroes kasi madidisappoint ka, di ba? But in my case, parang in Romel's case, it was definitely the opposite of that kasi ang dami kong natutunan and I think the respect that I gained, talking to him in person, mas nag-deepen din. Kasi ito, to be honest, when I don't like hearing myself talk. So, after ko mag-record ng podcast, parang hindi ko na talaga pinapakinggan masyado yung podcast kasi parang nakikringe ako hearing myself talk. So, Pero yung episode with Romel, I remember distinctly, I listened to it right after mag-record kami. Right after ma-edit, before ko pa na-release yung episode. I was listening to it again kasi during the conversation, syempre ang dami kong parang, uy, okay yung sinasabi ni Romel. Pero I don't like taking notes kasi while I'm talking kasi I want to be fully engaged with the guest. So, I remember right after ng interview, I told my editor na edit mo na agad, send mo sa akin agad yung file kasi I wanted to listen to it again. Kasi the following week, I was trying to apply na yung mga natutunan ko sa episode.
So, sa akin naman, no, although nagpapasalamat ako sa magandang mga salita nito. Ano to eh? Thank you very much. Pero sabi ko nga ron sa episode na yon, siguro makakatulong din sa ating mga kasama sa hanap buhay, no. And during that time, it was actually ano pa eh, no, na nag-usap tayo noon na ibang panahon pa, ika nga, di ba? Ibang panahon pa. Yung unang usap natin and then yung pangalawang usap natin, and siguro ang tip ko lang, no, para sa akin, no, whether it's Kendrick or whether it's, you know, somebody else na hindi nyo ganong kilala nyo, ang isang guidance, hindi ko na maalala kung sino nagturo sa akin, no, but always plant good seeds. No, wag mong sinuhin, wag mong i-judge kung mahalaga tong taong to, ano. No, kaya ka nga pinakausap ni Lord sa tao na yan, kaya nga kayo nagkatagpo, merong malalim na purpose yan. So give it your best, no? Isipin mo, nagsasalita yung Diyos sa pamamagitan mo. So dapat bigyan mo ng honor yon by, you know, saying only good things, no? Number one, wag kang magbabadmouth ng ibang tao, ng ibang brands, no? Don't say anything negative, no? Pag-build tayo, hindi tayo maninira, no? And I always say this, no? Lahat ng nakakakilala sa akin ng mas malalim, when people say thank you, I always say, I am just paying it forward. Because totoo yun. Lahat ng mga sinasabi ko, wala mga original dyan. Eh. Either narinig ko yan kay Dolphy, kay Panchito, no? Joke lang. No? Mahilig po kasi kung manood ng TV. Pero, alam mo, ang commonality namin nito ni Kendrick, number one, no? Mahilig kaming makinig. Yan po ang number one tip sa lahat. No? Mahilig po tayo dapat makinig. Sapagkat pagbukal po ng buka yung bibig natin, hindi tayo pwedeng makinig. No? Pangalawa, ito, sinegway ko na naman, no? Ipuput on the spot ko yung bisita natin, no? Diyan sa mga libro, alam mo, pag nakakita ko ng libro, parang gusto kong buklatin, ano? So, and diyan sa likod mo, no, may mga libro ka dyan. Can you pick one or two that recommended mo sa mga tagapanood natin, either about branding, about leadership, mga paborito mo? Sige lang, para maka ano sila, no? Either sa Blinkist or bilhin nila sa Fully Booked or whatever.
Ito talaga yung
inspirations.
Itong book ni Al Rees. So,
oo, Bible natin yan. Immutable Laws.
Yes.
Yes.
May autograph pa ni Al Rees.
Wow!
Wow!
So, yun, parang this is a very old book, but I think it's still available somewhere in bookstores. Pero it's a very short read lang, and the examples are a bit old, pero
magandang guidelines.
Yeah, the principles are the same. It's still applicable today. Diba? Sana nga magsulat sila ng updated version na may mga social media brands na rin. Pero,
agree.
Pero yun talaga yun. If you're interested in learning branding, at least yung principle lang how to think, how to approach, your own brand. This is a good book to start with.
Good.
Yan. Ayan. Ano naman yung thoughts mo on how brands can successfully pivot during the crisis?
I think it's really, this is unprecedented, diba? Parang we don't really know parang how to react, yung right or wrong. I think it's just really keep moving forward, diba? Parang kung walang way forward right now, maybe it's telling you to revisit your brand. Actually, nung start ng pandemic, that's one of the things that we did sa Antidote kasi we realized parang lahat ng mga nakakausap ko din na ibang fellow entrepreneurs, parang yun yung feeling nila. Wala tayong magawa, sarado lahat or literally bawal gumalaw. So anong pwedeng gawin right now, diba, to be productive? So nung time na yun, what we did was put up yung brand audit na worksheet na we used to do for our clients. We just put it up online on our website para lang, kung wala ka masyadong magawa right now as an owner, as a brand owner, then take stock, diba, doon sa brand mo. See where your brand or business is. Actually, more on the brand side talaga siya. So, how's your brand doing compared to your competitors, parang ganun. Um, and then you'll be able to take you get some, gain insights from that na magagamit mo rin moving forward. So even kami, we did that for our brands. Tapos even for Antidote, parang we had to redo it, di ba, na where are we right now. So marami actually nag-download nung when we released that. Ang daming na gano'n. Then actually sabi mo nga kami natawa ko, sabi mo na minsan may magtatanong once or twice.
Tapos
na.
Tapos na. Kasi actually yung release namin yun, we said nga, we released it for free. Tapos sabi nga namin, if you have questions how to apply to your brand, or kung nagawa mo na yung worksheet and you want to consult, parang feel free to message, parang walang any fee or what, just, it's just our way to help also at that time. Wala mga tanong, minsan isang tanong lang, tapos parang ayaw na magtanong. Parang ako pa yung nagsasabi, baka gusto mo magtanong.
Totoo, no? And I think that's something that we can work together to develop, no? And I mean it when I say that you should maybe frequent the show just for us to stimulate yung alam mo, tayo we notice as a culture, and I don't know where it's coming from, no? Hindi naman ako nag-major diyan, no? But napansin ko lang that parang mahirap sa atin yung magtanong ng tamang tanong at magtanong ng maraming tanong. No, parang we always want to make a statement, whether it's a statement na we keep silent or we don't say anything or we say a lot of things, but yung art of asking questions. Napaka-importante po no, lalo pagka sarili mo ng pera yung gagamitin mo, ibig sabihin nagne-negosyo ka na, magtanong ka muna. Kasi I'm pretty sure meron nang nakaranas niyang dadanasin mo pa lang. No? So again, no, nanggaling na po sa dalawa. Hindi lang po ako nagsasabi, and tatlo na, si Sheridan, sinabi niyan in previous episodes, no, even, and now si Kendrick sinasabi sa inyo, libre lang po ang magtanong. Libre lang. In fact, naswerte po tayo, nung araw, hahanapin mo pa sa encyclopedia, no?
Yes.
At nung araw, hindi po free yung mga information. And right now, ironically, when it's available and a lot of people are offering help, no? Saka pa po tayo nahihiyang magtanong. Parte po ng diligence yan, no? Yung pagiging faithful and responsible stewards of yung resources na binigay sa atin, na exercise due diligence, ask questions, no? And most probably may naka-encounter na niyang pinabalak niyong gawin at sasabihin na sa inyo, teka, wag mong gawin yan, ito ginawa ko, or sige, tuloy mo, okay yan, tama yan, no? Walang mawawala, di ba? Walang mawawala.
Oo, tsaka lang yung part na yung fear of looking or feeling stupid or yung feeling judged.
Yeah.
Pag i-weigh mo dun sa pagkakamali mo na you wasted time, you wasted money, balik ka na lang dun sa isa, tinanong mo na lang sana, you have saved a lot of time and money.
I think yun. Tama-tama ka dun, Sher. Kasi I think yun yung basa ko din sa ganun na people are afraid to look stupid, na parang magtanong ka ng stupid. Siguro hindi ko alam kung sa school kasi natutunan, magtanong ka ng stupid question, mabato ka ng eraser, di ba? Ako parang, kasi like, hindi ko alam kung alam mo, Romel, but when we first met, di ba, parang, like, I literally asked lahat ng pwede ko matanong kay Romel. It doesn't matter kung isipin na Romel, parang, may alam ba to? Parang gano'n. Kasi even if parang feeling ko may alam naman ako, parang if you're in the presence of somebody who has more experience, more wisdom, parang okay lang naman na magpakumbaba tayo, magtanong na ganito yung ginagawa namin, tama ba? Diba? Kahit sabihin niyang mali, tanga naman ang naisip mo. Pero kung may nasabi siya sa yung advice naman na magagamit mo, okay lang, di ba? It doesn't matter. Pride lang naman yung
libre. Yun ang napakapalad natin because right now it's for free. Ako, bibigyan kita ng example, no? When you have a business and you have a new product, no? Napakahalagang itanong mo yung tamang tanong. No, wag mong sasabihin na wag kang magtatapos doon sa sana magustuhan mo yung produkto ko. Tapos smiley, no? Actually, itanong mo ganito. Pagkatapos mong kainin yung produkto ko, bigyan mo ako ng feedback, ha?
Yes.
Yun, importante yun, hindi yung sana magustuhan mo. You're not seeking approval actually. You're seeking feedback para malaman mo yung honest to goodness feedback kung paano mo pa ma-improve. No? Because yung self-awareness, importante yun, pero of course, pag tayo nagja-judge ng sarili nating produkto, marami tayong biases eh.
Oo.
O
Very
bias.
personal yun eh. Masakit eh, di ba? Baby mo yun eh, biglang lalaitin.
Saka sabi nga, 'di ba, that we judge other people by their actions. Pero tayo, we judge ourselves by our intentions. So, pinaghirapan ko 'yan eh, 'di ba? Ang hirap-hirap gawin 'yan eh. 'Di ba?
Ikaw kaya?
Ang ingredients niyan ganito, ang ingredients niyan ganito. Eh pag ganun po tayo, hindi tayo makakakuha ng tamang guidance from consumers. So, yan yung mga naisingit natin na ano diyan sa pagkukwentuhan na 'yan.
Ayan. Tapos, ano naman yung, apart from the book that you shared a while ago, any favorite tools you can recommend to viewers to help them succeed in terms of branding?
Tools. I think it's really, parang as with anything, no? Kunyari, you want to get better at something, diba? You really have to expose yourself to more stimuli, diba? So, if you're in the food business, you really have to be a student and learn what are the top brands doing, what are the successful brands, doing, best practices nila, and really take from there, diba? And that's also why I really wanted to do the podcast before, kasi parang whenever I talk with people, parang ang dami kong learnings eh, pero parang I feel like magandang i-share, diba? Kasi especially yung podcast, like the way I do the podcast, kasi parang it's very conversational lang, and I really try to get into yung thought process, diba? Hindi lang sa ano yung tactics mo, kasi minsan ang hirap mag-apply eh, diba? Pag sabihin ito yung tactics, ito gawin mo, hindi mo magagaya naman basta-basta, diba? So I like to get behind the thinking process nung entrepreneur. Bakit ganyan yung ginawa nila? Bakit ganito? So in terms of tools, siguro yun yung pinaka there are a lot of books. If you don't like reading, there's audio like podcasts. If you don't like to listen, you can watch videos. There's a lot of great resource out there, diba? YouTube and all that. So and shows like this, diba? So kailangan talaga parang there's no one tool. It's just really finding how you best learn, and then keep doing that.
Speaking of tools, no, ito, i-open ko lang, no. If you don't mind, Kendrick, para makita rin ng ating ano. Ito, it's as simple as this. You open the website of Antidote, no. So where do I go, Kendrick, to get that? Is it still online yung audit?
Downloads. Yes,
Yeah.
Downloads. So I go to downloads. Ayan, live po yan. Time. I go to downloads. So ilalagay mo lang syempre yung contact details mo. Andiyan yung game-changing concept, brand audit worksheet. So ilalagay ko yung aking pangalan, no? Ito hindi ko siya type online, baka makita yung aking details, but pero ganun lang po kasimple. If you're really interested to make your brand better, no? Yan si Captain Neil. No, saan nandiyan ka pa, no? I'm sure nanonood ka. O yan, bago tayo mag-meeting, no? And baka papakiusapan ko si Kendrick na bigyan ka rin ng konting tips, sama natin sa Zoom meeting natin. And again, no, be prepared with your questions, no? Kasi maganda yung idea, they're trying to become entrepreneurs in the midst of the pandemic, and may mga tao na tutulong sa inyo. Ayan, no? In a classic example na napakadali, accessible, no? Hindi na po tayo kailangan mahiya, pumunta sa kapitbahay, kumatok, pwede po ba makahiram ng letter L ng inyong Encyclopedia Britannica? Ganun ako nung bata ako, no? And until naawa yung uncle ko, bumili ng encyclopedia, no? Pinadala sa amin.
Kaso ABCDE yun eh.
Di ba? Totoo nung araw, ganun, no? Kailangan sino kapitbahay mo. Alam mo dapat kung sinong kapitbahay na merong encyclopedia, di ba? Na mahihiraman. So, pagka minalas-malas ka, manghihiram ka rin ng typewriter. Di ba? Ngayon, napakadali po, no? Nasa kamay na po nating lahat. So, this is an example. And again, the website is, sorry, hindi ko mapakita yung yung yun, antidotebranding.com. Ayan, napakadali pong tandaan. Sige. Sige, share. Ano pa ba?
Ayan, yung kanina, so nakita ko mayroon siyang audit. Ano yung definition mo ng successful na brand?
Okay. So, successful na brand, it really, parang I guess it depends on what the entrepreneur really wants to do. Pero kung ako tatanungin, parang it's really a brand that was able to have an impact. Diba? I think it's very similar to tayo as people, diba? Na yung nabuhay ka may size sa iba. Parang ganun, di ba?
Mm.
Parang yung brand, if you didn't exist, same lang ba yung industry? Di ba? Kung nag-exist ka, may nagbago ba sa industry? Kasi kung wala, parang medyo walang impact yung brand, di ba? So, the way I look at a successful brand, it's not just monetary kasi not all brands are made for money, di ba? So, maraming brands na, most of the brands that are successful, yung impact yung I would say, yung pinaka-basehan natin dyan. So, doesn't matter kung nag-fail yung business ultimately, but by creating the brand, you were able to create, parang some change in the industry for the better. I think yun yung ano. So, and then syempre, in the context of yung brand for the motherland, since napakita ni Romel yung website.
Ganda nga, ang ganda ng tagline eh.
Sa akin yun, sana parang when we create a brand, hindi lang tayo maging successful here making money, but sana may impact din in terms of, people from other countries knowing your brand, na alam nilang gawa sa Pilipinas yung brand. Diba? Na they love the brand and they know that it's from the Philippines. Para din, nagkakaroon ng contribution tayo sa brand ng Pilipinas.
Oh, yan, gusto. Actually, gusto ko machika dyan, Kendrick, kasi ang daming upsides niyan, especially, kasi I've been handling KL in Malaysia as well as Hong Kong. Kaya natutuwa ako pag ang Jollibee's in Hong Kong, and then in Malaysia sa Sabah may Jollibee. I like it when non-Filipinos try Jollibee and like it. That's the part na parang okay, alam nating Filipino brand siya, pero it cut across the globe na.
Correct. Yes.
So yan, nakita niyo po ang picture niya, talagang nagtuturo din, resto coach din, no? Hindi brand coach actually, no? So part din siya ng community of coaches na, so kami na nakakatawa nga dahil tayo pa yung nagyayaya sa kanila na magpaturo, no, and
I know.
Nandito po kaming lahat para sa inyo, no. Ngayon by episode 28, napakarami na pong coaches and mentors na nakasama natin. Ang maganda ngayon, all you have to do is replay, no, share, no. Ayun na, ngayon ang nanonood po ng live, no, konti lang, pero mamaya pag sa replay, thousands naman umaabot yan, no. So please, no, share, no, and spread the word, no. Pag may kakilala kayong nagnenegosyo ngayon, may 3 hanggang 4 tayong bagong nanonood, and nag-snowball effect na, no. And congratulations, share, no, dumadami na yung ating followers. Dati yan, mga organic followers ng nagsimula tayo ng episode 1, tayo lang yata ang nanonood sa sarili natin. So ngayon dumadami na, and of course maraming salamat sa mga bisita natin na nagdadala rin ng hatak nila, na para lumaki yung community natin, community of mentors, mentees, no, yung mga kino-coach, yung mga natutulungan at tumutulong, no. Eventually po, kayo na po yung magtutuloy ng pagtulong, yun naman po yung sistema natin. Eventually, kayo na po yung nandito. Pag nag-retire na kami ni Share, no, kayo naman yung papalit dito, pero huwag nyo napalitan yung pangalan kasi may branding na siya, no.
Yeah.
May equity na siya, brand equity na siya.
Oy, maraming salamat nga pala. Ilang linggo kong binabatas may virtual background yung no. Finally, we open market, Buffalo Swings and Things market. So, masarap mag-open, one of the most meaningful openings sa gitna ng pandemya, no. And maraming salamat po sa Resto Kings family, yung aming franchisee dyan, no, na despite the pandemic, you wanted to provide jobs and to serve the community. So, maraming salamat, Resto Kings family, Miss AJ Mauricio, Chris Mauricio, si Jace, no, San Pedro, at ang lahat ng bumubuo sa Resto Kings. Thank you very much.
Ayan. So, I think may part 2 to kasi we can go deeper, but since we have like an hour na, I'll do the top 3 takeaways.
Yeah, top 3 takeaways. Then we do our resto quote. After yung top 3 takeaways, hayaan natin magbigay ng parting shot ng ating bisita. And then we bid farewell as we show yung ating resto quote for the week. Sige.
Yes. Yep. Okay. First things first, I really like your branding for nation building kasi sobra tayong kulang doon. Parang a part of our Filipino heritage, yung ayaw nating magbuhat ng sarili nating bangko. So high time we have to do that. So point number 1 is to be an eternal student. Like learning is similar to branding. It has to evolve. It has to go endless. And then point number 2 is brand names carry stories. So it's up to you to define your story, but involve your customers. And then number 3 is know your strengths and then find and learn from experts, as you've said. Listen to the market and evolve. Be curious and learn from other people's mistakes. Because branding, again, is a process and a journey.
Yes.
Bigat ng mga binitawan mo. Mukhang mahirap magpaliwanag next week. So, parting shot, parang Kendrick. Parting shot sa mga kaibigan at tagapanood.
All right. I guess going back, as entrepreneurs, I think we start businesses for deeper reasons than money. So like I always say also whenever I end the podcast, parang it's you have to go out and do the work that you love, kasi parang life's too short to not be creating your life's work.
Ang ganda. Pwede nating gamitin natin next week. Salamat, partner, ha? And again, we mean it, no? I think may part 2 ka pa dito. Mukhang marami nagka-interest sa branding and we should stimulate that, no? Hindi natin gano'n napag-usapan din yung podcast. So, I think there should be a part 2. And we thank you for gracing our show, no? For sharing and for spreading the word, no? For this week, ang ating quote ay bagay na bagay po sa mga sinabi ng ating bisita, no? At sa mga kanyang ipinayo sa ating lahat, no? Kasi na kayo at bagal na akong yan. Nakalagay po dyan. Nakikita na ba?
Yes.
Ayan. Fulfillment comes from doing the right things and doing things the right way. No, napakalinaw po, no? Parati nating ipinaglalaban yung diskurso about hindi po pwede yung pwede ba o hindi pwede. Ang pinag-uusapan, tama ba o mali. No? And I'm telling you from the wisdom of experience, no? Alam mo naman, napakatanda na kung magsalita. No? I'm 48 already, no? Medyo mas matanda ako sa karamihan na nakikinig sa atin, no? Yan po ay totoo, no? Just, sabi nga kanina, do it right the first time. So ako, lalawakan ko. If you want to get to a level of fulfillment sa buhay, do things the right way and do the right things. No? Huwag kang gagawa ng maling bagay at pag gumawa ka ng isang bagay, gawin mo ng tama. No? And with that, no, again, maraming salamat po sa mga nanood. No? Sa mga hindi ko po nabati, babawi ako next time. Nakakatawa yung diskurso nila about nagkakaila pa sila kung kilala nila si Panchito o hindi. So itutuloy po natin next week yan. No? Maraming salamat po, lalo yung mga taga-ibang bansa. Alam ko, iba po yung oras dyan. No? At maraming bagong pangalan. Tayo po yung lumalaki po yung ating community. And again, nakikiusap po tayo, please share yung ating mga access points o yung mga links, no, sa YouTube, no, sa ating Facebook page. No, paki-share kung nagustuhan niyo po yung ating episode, pa-share na lang po. No? And with that, no, as always, we always say dito sa ating show, nakaka-8 buwan na tayo, pero pareho sinasabi natin every time we end the show. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay optimistic. Magandang gabi po. God bless.